Okay, it's the end of the session, and this is Phoebe.
Delilah.
Delilah, excuse me.
It's okay.
And this is Spider, and then we have Mr. DJ over there in the corner. And so, all right, this is the roadmap to success video. Now, I'm going to basically just kind of summarize all the things that we covered. We started off by just basically talking about puppies in general. The video above is really going to have a lot of tips and things that will help with a lot of the dog-dog interactions. Now, I see right now Delilah is going to potty, and she's got like 5 or 6 puppy pads over off the side. Now, I'm not a big fan of puppy pads, and there we go, she's pooping right now, and that's fine, but she is practicing pooping in the house, and that makes it a little confusing. Why can't I just pee or poop over there? So if you're gonna put a puppy pad down, you usually just wanna put one only, and the idea is to teach them to go that one place. Yeah. Now, if you want, I'll put a video on potty training.
Did
if
she
I forget.
do number 2?
She did number 2, yeah.
Dad, you want to grab a napkin real quick? You know how Frenchies have to wipe the butt really bad, really quick.
Okay.
They're
so,
right there.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry.
So basically, it's all right. But
yeah.
again, you start getting kind of pooping in different places. Like she might have done a little bit right there on the blanket. All right, so that is one of the reasons why I would suggest, come here, sweetie.
Just to get her butt wiped. Go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you want me to grab it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't want to be in here.
All right, I'll take it off.
Okay. So, all right. So basically, so I would probably get rid of the puppy pads. Watch the video on potty training. Remember, now that you have a marker word, when she is about to pee or poop, the cue is the label, the direction to tell the dog what to do. You shouldn't say the cue unless you're 90% certain they're going to do the action. So when she gets on her tippy toes, that's when you say potty. Don't say anything else. Don't move. When she gets done pottying, then say yes, and then put a treat in her mouth. And after a while, then if you say potty and she jumps around, that's her way of saying, yes, I have to potty. Say potty and she doesn't do that, she's saying, I don't have to potty. And so it's important, again, I think that there was a lack of communication here, or some confusing communication, and I think that's part of why these fights were happening. One of the reasons, I think she's underslept and overstimulated. I think those are the primary reasons. But having good communication is really, really important. And so for dogs, if we have them, if we're using a marker word, they understand what it is. So remember, from now on, when you say yes, you are saying good dog in a way that dogs interpret as good dog. Now that'll only happen if you load it. So before you get this video, I need you to remember this. I need all you guys to walk around the house, say yes, give the dog a treat. Walk a couple steps, say yes, give them another treat. And do this with all the dogs so they all know it. I usually recommend about 12 to 20 treats, 6 different occasions per dog. So since there's 3 of you in the house, I would have each one of you do it with each dog 3 times. And you want to get this done the next day or 2. It's Sunday. Get this done by Monday, Tuesday at the latest. You know you're done when you say yes, the dogs look up at you. All right, so that's marker words. We also went over hand targeting. That's touch your hand to your nose to my hand. There's a video above that's going to explain all that, so I'm not going to talk about it. But make sure you watch that one. And again, that's what we use to reposition dogs. Your dogs are small, you can pick them up, but you're going to create some resentment. So whenever possible, you want to use hand targeting, get them to follow your hand to look this way or follow you this way or whatever it is. So watch the video on hand targeting. We also went over celebrating. Celebrating is the easiest thing that you can do that will have the biggest impact on your dog. Celebrating is simply rewarding your dog when it offers behaviors that you don't ask for. So it comes to you, you say yes and pet it. It sits, you say yes and pet it. Lays down, yes and pet it. All those fun things. And after a while, your dog will sit to ask for that. If you consistently ask Delilah to sit before you open the fence, and as soon as she sits, you say yes and open the fence. Open the fence is the cookie. Open the fence is the reward. So after a while, you're going to walk up and she's just going to sit down automatically. Then you would say yes and open the fence. So now she's identified sitting is what caused the door to open. So I'm going to go prepay and sit to get the door to open up, and then you open it up and let her out. And so that's kind of a good habit to get into, just like teaching kids to say please and thank you. So celebrate desired behaviors. Make sure you point at each other and say celebrate if the dog is not, if your partner or your friend or whoever's there is not mindful and is not celebrating on their own. So if the dog walks up and I'm watching TV, somebody says celebrate, I say yes and pet the dog on her chin. I don't need to know what it is. I just got to take my partner's word for it. So say celebrate to each other, help you get in the habit, but try to be mindful of the next 2 months. Yes, that's celebrating a recall. So the more that you pet your dogs for the things you want, the more they're going to do those things. We also talked about manners. Manners is if she jumps up on me, barks at me, nudges me. She says, give me some chicken nuggets. So if that's the case, try to watch me through the thing. I think you're kind of filming that way a little bit. Then she's saying, give me chicken nuggets. Give me your attention. Nothing wrong with her asking her attention, but jumping up and barking and nudging us is not the way we want her to do it. So instead, when she jumps up or nudges us, we're going to tell her to sit 1 time. If she sits, we say yes and pet her under the chin. If she doesn't sit, party on. You do what you want to do. Now I'm reading the mail. I'm watching TV. I'm writing a song, whatever it is. And so now the dog learns that if I do what my mom wants, I get a reward. If I do what I want, I better be happy with what I'm doing because she's not going to reward me because it's not what she's asking for. And remember, half of the marker word is not saying the marker word if the dog does not do the action. So if you say sit and the dog lays down, do not reward that. You're asking for one specific thing, provided the dog knows how to do it. Remember not to repeat a word. The more you say it, the less you mean it. Don't say sit, sit, sit. The beauty of the marker word is we only say it when they don't do it. Yes, she just laid down. Now, I normally would go and pet her, but I think I would disturb her. So normally you would pet or reward or something like that, but if your dog does anything that you like, say yes and pet them. Manners is if we think that somebody is petting the dog accidentally. One of the dogs jumped up on me and I'm petting and I'm not paying attention watching TV. Somebody walks in and says manners. I would stop petting, say sit. Excuse me. If Spider sits, I say yes and pet. If Spider doesn't sit, again, I go back to doing what I was doing without petting her. And so I'm saying you got to do what I want in order for me to pet you. If you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. I'm not going to punish you, but you're not getting the reward you're wanting for. After a while, these things work in harmony, and the dog will start coming and sitting in front of you to prepay for the attention, sitting to be asked out of the kennel, the long-term confinement area, and all that fun stuff. We also went over dog consent and cutoff signals. I'm going to have a video for that linked above. But remember, starting petting on top of the head, dogs do not like that. They interpret that as dominating. Ears flipping back, ducking their head or turning away, or refusing to look are cutoff signals. Spider was off in cutoff signals. She was trying to start a fight with Spider. She's staring at Spider, and Spider just did this. That's Spider saying, I don't want to cause this. I don't want to contribute to this. Spider should be celebrated for that.
Yeah.
Now, if she continues doing it, then take her away. And if she's doing it, she's probably overly tired. She probably needs a break. Mm-hmm. I mean, we put her in there and she slept for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And there was somebody sitting with delicious treats literally 1.5 feet away from her. She was exhausted. And so I would make sure that she's getting at least a good 14 hours of sleep a day. And if you ask yourself, it's been longer than 2 hours and she hasn't slept, she should get a little bit of a break. Let me see. We also, I didn't mention this earlier, but I will mention the video. I guess I mentioned a little bit in the other video. The pause eruptor sound is beep, 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 puppy, puppy, puppy.
Oh, I used your little trick and she came in.
There we go. And so the idea is those sounds get dogs' attention. Remember, all of your attention is rewarding. So if you say, don't do that, you're making the dog more likely to do that again. So instead, we want to make the pause eruptor sound. And so right there, we're not going to film it because he doesn't want to be on film. But one of the guardians just sat down. Spider jumped up on his lap and he's petting. Now, there's anything wrong with that, but he is telling Spider the way to get attention from you is to ask for attention, or is to jump up.
What I told him is that the only issues we have with her, but we can do it after.
Like our video. Let's have the conversation after. Sorry. Now, one of the things that the dogs don't do is they don't come when they're called inside. For her, I think a lot of times coming represents the end of fun. I'd rather be outside, and you ask me to come, and then you close the door, and I can't be outside. So the way I get dogs to come for that, grab a warm piece of chicken or roast beef or something they like, a warm piece of meat. I would probably walk right in front, about 2 feet in front of his doorway, because that's in the middle of your yard, and stand there. Don't say anything, just wait. As soon as Spider comes to you, say yes and give her the treat, and then go inside and don't bring her with you. Close the door with her outside. Wait for her to walk away. Let's say that was 20 paces outside your back door before you got to the point where you stopped. Next time you go out there with another piece of warm chicken and wait for at 19 paces. Wait for Spider to come on her own. When she does, yes, give her the treat. Then 18 paces, 17. Eventually you get to the point where you open the door, Spider's going to run right up to you. Give her the treat and let her run out the door. Start thinking, if I want Spider to come in, I'm going to start calling her in 5 minutes before I need her to come in. I'm going to have her come in the door, give her a treat, open the door, let her run back out. Do that 3 or 4 times. When I'm calling her in and she comes to the door, I might take the piece of kibble or treats and throw like 5 of them on the ground. She's getting those while I close the door. So I let her come in, I proved to her, you can go back out and have fun, but after a couple times now, there's treats in here, and she'll be like, okay, I'm resigned to sitting here, I just got a bunch of treats. Now be careful, leaving a bunch of treats on the floor could turn into a fight. And so high value items, especially when they're overexcited or she's underslept, those are times they're more likely to get in fights. So just be mindful of those things. I'd like you to also incorporate some rules. Most people don't have any rules for the dogs. Dogs have to practice impulse control if we want them to not to bark, not to jump up, not to run away, not to fight. And the way we do that is with things that they're ready to do anyways. So before I'm going to open the door here, I'm going to tell you to sit. Now, she doesn't know how to sit yet. You just taught her, so you have to practice that a little bit. But sit is the proper way of asking to get out of here. Sit before I start preparing your food. Sit before I open the door. Sit before I pet you. Sit before I invite you on the couch. So after a while, she's going to start sitting to prepay for those things. Sitting can be a dog's way of saying, hey, I have some respect for you and your authority. I'm going to sit down to prove to you that I'm being a good dog. And it's just kind of like just saying please or thank you if you do it right. All right, now remember the video above should talk about treat outs and all that fun stuff. This is good play, but this shouldn't go on for too long. This would be like maybe a minute to 5 minutes max. After 5 minutes, I'm going to separate the dogs. If you separate them themselves, then they don't get to a fight. But if you let their energy get too long and they get fatigued for doing this too long, that's when fights and stuff happen. So the idea is to manage the situation for them so they don't have to do it on their own.
A treat out, like what you just
treat
did.
out.
Okay.
They could also do pair treating.
Pair treating, that's what that was. Okay.
Sit.
I'm probably mixing it up with treat out. Okay.
Yes. You got to put your little butt on the ground. You got to do
Sit.
yes. And remember, for her, she prefers to sit on surface, on cloth or carpet or something like
slides,
that.
yeah.
Otherwise, she's going to slide here. She was sliding when she's pooping over there in the on the puppy pad, so she doesn't have good grips. All right. Well, can we come up here, Spider? You have bulldog teeth. Yes, you do. She's like, well, I'm kind of a bulldog.
Her underbite.
Well, this is Delilah. This is Miss Spider. Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth.
She's known for
And
those.
then DJ's over there. And this is the roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.